Educating Rita, a return to the classroom comes as a shock.
You're a student, aren't you?
Yes.
So am I.
I'm afraid you'll find there is less to me than meets the eye.
See? You can say dead clever things like that, can't you? I wish I could talk like that. It's brilliant.
Rita, why didn't you walk in here 20 years ago?
I don't think they would have accepted me at the age of 6.
Educating Rita, Friday, 9:30 on BBC1.
Starting shortly on 2, the first showing on British television of Alex Cox's cult science fiction thriller Repo Man, starring Emilio Estevez as a laid-back hero sucked into a bizarre lifestyle. Here on 1, in a quarter of an hour, Isaac Hayes is the special guest when Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas star as Crockett and Tubbs on the trail of more Miami Vice. That's after the main news of the evening with Martyn Lewis.
An election snub for Mr. Gorbachev from Moscow and the Baltic republics. The Soviet leader says not everyone may be pleased, but the people have spoken. And Mrs. Thatcher in Morocco is tonight telling Israel it's time to negotiate with your Middle East opponents. Good evening. The voters of Moscow in their first free election have overwhelmingly chosen Boris Yeltsin to represent them in the new Soviet parliament. He won 89% of the votes, soundly beating the official Communist Party candidate. He says it proves the need to speed up reforms. Mr. Gorbachev, who had him sacked from his party jobs, says not everyone may be pleased with the election results, but the Soviet people have spoken. In the Baltic republics, nationalists made big advances and are claiming a majority of seats in Estonia and Lithuania.
When the result was finally announced, it came as little surprise. Only the extent of Yeltsin's victory had been in doubt, and in the end it was overwhelming. 89% of the popular vote across the whole of Moscow, and cause for dignified celebration in the Yeltsin camp. For the authorities, it's an embarrassing protest vote and proof that even a limited taste of democracy can produce unexpected and sometimes unpalatable results. Dismissed from the Politburo for advocating more radical reforms than Mr. Gorbachev could contemplate, Yeltsin has drawn ever greater support as the party has tried to discredit him. Many voters look on him as the founder of what could be a new political force in the Soviet Union. Now assured of a place in the new parliament, Yeltsin's aim is to be elected to its permanent ruling body, the Supreme Soviet, where he's already talking of forming a political faction of radical deputies.